1970 WOCA.
Ocala.
Just about 4 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Nice looking Wednesday morning. I don't usually go out on a boat, but this past Saturday I did. I went to visit my brother and his wife down in Port Charlotte. They have a boat. I guess you would call it a small boat. It's got a nice motor around it, and it was a nice change of pace for me. We went out on Charlotte Harbor off of Port Charlotte, and they took me all the way to where Charlotte Harbor meets the Gulf of Mexico, and I guess you call that a strait area, right? STRAIT, whatever. And when we got there, what was cool is that there were lots of tarpon. And they knew that there would be tarpon because I guess there's always tarpon there. And they said, well, you'll know them when you see their silver bellies because they like to flip and show their bellies to the sun on the surface of the water. So not being a fisherman, not knowing much about fish or the water or boats or anything like that, when I first saw one, I was like, holy cow, those things are gigantic. I'm used to fish tanks, where we've got guppies and goldfish. These fish were huge. And all of a sudden it occurred to me, what if one did one of those flippy things onto the boat? What would happen then? All of a sudden I started getting nervous, and I didn't let on, though. I just had a really good time with my brother and his wife, and all's well. But then as well, it was fun. Our next guest has a better story to tell than that ever will be. And I'll tell you the truth, he can have it. I don't ever want to top him. I don't ever want to trump our next guest. He's got a story to tell, and it's documented in a book, and I'm anxious to hear about, not only about this one story, but about his life, really, as an adventurer, a sailor. He is Max J. Young. I hope I have his name right. The book is called Reckoning at Sea, Eye to Eye with a Gray Whale, Robin.
That is so awesome.
Also,
wow.
12 year circumnavigation. It is his true story. Wow, this guy's been on the water a lot. Probably. I wonder what my story sounded like to him.
Yeah.
It sounded like a kindergartner trying to say, I know how to spell dad. Okay, yeah, you know how to spell dad. Big deal. Max Young, we are so impressed with what this story is about. We were speaking yesterday. Oh my goodness, when we made the phone call to Jeff March and Marty Smiley Childs, and I believe they are also part of this whole project. Max, good morning, Max.
Good morning. How are you doing this morning?
Good. Where are you? Where are you calling from?
I live in Sacramento, California.
Oh, okay. Oh, I got up early. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, no problem.
See, where do we start with this? So tell me about the 12 years. Have you been... do you have a boat? Let's start there. Do you own a boat?
Well, technically I do, but it's about about 20,000 feet down from off the coast of Mexico.
Your boat is sunk.
It did sink. Yeah, it sunk about within 10 minutes or 15 minutes after it got onto the rescue vessel.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, actually, I was 60 miles off the coast of Mexico, 490 miles south of San Diego. As the Coast Guard, we went to the Coast Guard station in Oakland, and they showed me on their radar where they picked up the emergency signals. And as one of the Coast Guard guys said, "You are in nowhere's land," and I was.
Wow. You see, now, when I was on this little boat on Saturday, I could see the land, and I kept thinking, could I swim that far if I needed to? Now, how far were you out?
60 miles out.
There's no way you can swim back.
No. Well, and it gets worse. The Coast Guard lady, the U.S. Coast Guard flew down, and that I really didn't expect. I thought maybe the Mexican Navy, but the closest Mexican Navy would have been Cabo San Lucas, and there's no way they're going to reach me in time. Honestly, I really did think I was not going to make it that night.
All right, so set this up so we can visualize this, and we've got so many more questions. The incident that we're referring to right now, you were out in the water. Was it nighttime, daytime? When was this?
It was at about around 10:14 when the whale breached and landed on the stern at night.
At night?
Yeah, pitch dark night, and it was absolutely beautiful. Absolutely, that was one of the most gorgeous nights I've ever seen. It was just clear. The stars are bright. Oh, it was.
Are you alone? Are you alone?
Yes, I was. Yes.
Are you alone? Are you a lonely man? I mean, why do you do this? Okay, so you're out on the boat. 60 miles into the water, right? It's black night, and you're what? Just enjoying the what you're seeing? I mean, what you're not seeing? What happens?
I loved that night. It was beautiful. I single-handed across the Atlantic, and I loved every second of that.
Wow.
And the reason I was alone is because I was supposed to have my wife and my best friend be with me, but when we made the transit through the Panama Canal, we were delayed. You know, they're building the new canal lock.
Okay.
And it was delayed, so they were supposed to go all the way to San Diego with me, but they ended up leaving in Zihuatanejo because they had to go back to work and so on.
Tell us when this was. This was just about a year ago, right?
Yeah, it happened June 12th, 2012.
June 12th. Wow, just over a year ago.
But prior to that, you said you were encountering pirates.
Oh yeah, well that
part
was
of the story.
like I said, I left May 8th of 2000 out of San Francisco Bay. The pirates were off the coast of Somalia, between Somalia and Yemen.
That's where they all are. That's where you should never go there. That's like the Bermuda Triangle. Okay. All right, so let's get back to the whale part. Okay, so we'll talk about the pirates in a second. So you're on the boat. It's dark. All of a sudden, what? A big jump? I mean, did you hear it coming? Was it out of nowhere?
Yeah, well, that's the strange thing, too, because like I was saying, it's such a beautiful night. I'm always looking forward at nighttime when I'm by myself. I sleep during the day, maybe 10, 15 minutes at a time, and I have this it's like a cookie timer, if you will, but on steroids. And it'll go off if it'll go off if I sleep past 15 minutes. And so that's what I normally do. Just take short naps through the day, and I'm fine. That night I was looking aft because I was looking at the stars. I'm looking forward.
Yeah,
at the boat,
sounds
debris,
nice.
so on and so forth.
Yeah.
And then I could hear this slush sound, and then all of a sudden this whale. It was illuminated by my stern light. I had a really bright stern light, again, because I'm looking forward, so a boat coming from behind me could see me, right?
Okay, got it.
And so he was illuminated very well, and or she, and it landed on the stern.
Oh, wow. Now, what happened to the boat?
Well, it had knocked down my communication tower, which was about an 8-foot stainless steel tower. It did some severe damage. Actually, the lady flying overhead in the Coast Guard plane could actually see the damage during the daylight, and she's told me about the damage in stern, and that's the only time I actually walked back there after that. The boat was taken on water, and the whale also. I saw the whale, and that boat was built strong. She was a sturdy boat, and so. I didn't have steerage. My autopilot, my indicators were showing that I was heading southwest, and in fact, I should be heading north. And I couldn't understand that. I didn't realize that until actually I saw the photos from the rescue vessel they had taken of when the whale hit the boat on the stern. It cracked the hull, and then it literally bent a solid stainless steel 2-inch rudder post in almost a 90-degree angle.
Oh, my goodness. And so the whale just kind of fell right off the boat and went back to its swimming?
Yeah, it did. And so the first impact was when the whale landed on the stern. Then I felt another second impact would turn the boat hard to port.
Wow.
To the left.
Okay. Thank you.
And I think that's when it slammed into the rudder and actually bent the.
Oh my God! And so you're actually still operating the boat. You were. Did you think it was going to sink at that point?
No, I didn't. I didn't realize that there was water actually coming into the boat. What concerned me is at the time that I could see on my 2 chart plotters that I was heading in the opposite direction. I'm heading out to sea. I'm heading down to southwest, the area where I don't want to really go.
It says a 50-foot boat in my notes. Is that considered large? What is a 50-foot boat? Is that a big boat or a small boat?
It's a pretty good-sized boat, yeah.
That's considered big. Okay.
She was 22 tons.
Okay. So you are still operating the boat. Do you call somebody right away and say, "Hey, I just got hit by a whale"?
No, there's no cell phone connection out there very well. So I set off my. Well, actually, I didn't set off my EPIRBs at first because I've been out. My dad was a commercial fisherman. I've been out there all my life. I've been out in that ocean, and I built a 31-foot sailboat in my backyard, a fiberglass.
Wow.
I'm pretty much, and I have a master's degree in engineering.
So you know this stuff. I mean, this is in your blood.
Yeah, it is. It truly is. I absolutely love it, like I said. But so what happened was I didn't realize that I was taking on water. I knew I didn't have steerage because my chart plotters were telling me that. So that was the first thing I thought. I need to check why I don't have steerage.
Right.
My first thought was it might have ruptured. If it hit the rudder, it would maybe hyperextended the hydraulic lines. That's what I was concerned about, or the autopilot system that's hydraulic also. So I went down below, and underneath the aft berth is where I was checking for the leaks in the hydraulic systems or any other problems that I had, and I couldn't see anything. The top of the rudder looked fine, where it just and I couldn't get it. So I followed the hydraulic lines all the way back up to where the helm is. Thought maybe there was something in there.
Right.
As I was coming back from the aft cabin going forward, I started hearing the sloshing in the bilge. And so I took the stairs away that goes down from the pilot house down into the main saloon, salon, and opened up the 2 foot by 4 foot bilge cover hatch. I'm sorry, and I looked in there and I had about 3 feet of water already.
Oh, so now you're panicking, right?
Well, no, not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
No, I'm not going to panic yet.
I would have been. I would have been so panicked. I would have. Holy cow! There was a. Okay. So go on. We're all ears here.
Well, anyway, I can hear one of the bilge pumps going, but when the whale hit the back end of the boat, all the debris that I had pipes and I had wiring that I had in baskets that were sitting on port and starboard side in the bilge itself, all emptied out on my bilge, into my bilge. There's a float switch on those, and they landed on the float switch. So I had 3 pretty good-sized bilge pump, but only one's going. So I ended up clearing that debris, and but still the water kept coming in, and I couldn't believe it. I never did find where the water was coming from. My only suspicion is at the bottom where the rudder is connected. It's about a 5 foot in length rudder. At the very bottom, there's about a 10-inch plate of stainless steel. It had to rupture that plate. And that's the lowest part of the boat.
Okay, so you couldn't see where it was coming, but but you knew it was coming.
Oh yeah, definitely it was coming. And the bilge pumps were doing a great job, but the problem is the water kept going higher and higher.
So you have a life raft on the thing? Do you have?
I did have a life raft.
Okay.
I had one of the most expensive life rafts they have, and guess what happened?
What happened?
The Coast Guard lady, I told her that the bilge pumps weren't keeping up. The boat's going lower and lower, and I think she probably see how the water was coming up on the gunnels. Realizing, there's a problem here. She said, "You throw in the life raft," and I did. And what happens is...
You're on the radio with her? I mean, she can talk?
Yeah, okay, on the VHF radio.
Okay.
And so I threw the life raft in, and what happens is as it gets at the end of about a 30-foot cord, it's supposed to pop open. It wouldn't pop open.
Oh, no.
And this is all on video. You can hear us conversation back and forth.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And she says, "Well, pull on the line." And I said, "I am pulling on the line." She could obviously see I'm pulling on the line.
Oh, she could see. She could see you. She could see you and hear you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're flying overhead. They flew in from after I was out there. They flew in about after I set off the EPIRBs.
Okay.
Which are actually made in your area, ACR EPIRBs.
I didn't know that. We make EPIRBs around here.
Yeah, they make the best.
That's cool.
You know what it is.
Well, it's a beacon that sends out that you need help. And it goes to Coast Guard stations.
I don't understand it. How could she see you if it was nighttime?
No, they flew in. By the time they got there, they got there during really early in the morning. They actually had to fly out of Sacramento. And when we went to the Coast Guard station, the first signal had me 3,000 miles away. So they had to zero in on the signals to try to actually figure out where and exactly I was.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And
so you didn't sink as fast as the Titanic. I mean, it took a long time. Okay.
No. It took. It would have taken. It was about 10 at night. I would say about 6 in the morning she actually ended up sinking. So, yeah, the bilge pumps, like I said, the bilge pumps are keeping up.
So the Coast Guard lady's up in a helicopter?
No, they flew in a Hercules 130.
What is that, Robin?
It's a...
I don't know.
I'm trying to pretend I know.
It's a pretty good size Coast Guard. The normal Coast Guard planes.
Airplane, okay.
And
they can see.
Turbo plane.
So they tell you to throw in the life raft. It doesn't open up, but they are up there, so you have some help, right?
Well, yeah, but airplanes don't land very well in the water.
Okay.
So anyway, let me tell you what happened. We're kind of going ahead a little bit, but what the life raft did finally open. It slammed in the side of the rescue vessel, then it popped open.
Oh my gosh! So by that time it was useless because your rescue vessel was there.
Yeah, well, the rescue vessel didn't get there till it was daylight.
Oh, that was
probably about 5, 6 in the morning.
Oh my gosh!
That was just God having fun with you.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll answer your prayer. There you go.
Since that happened and your boat, was no longer functional and it got lost, are you still able to finish the 400 and some miles of that 30,000 and some mile trip that you did around the world, or does it not count now?
Well, technically, I did cross the latitude that I left from San Francisco by 300 miles. So yeah, technically, I have circumnavigated. I always thought that when you circumnavigate, you come back to the port you left from, but that's not true. I found out later.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't really mean if I circumnavigated or not. It was the adventure that was important to me. I wanted to go to places my dad had gone during World War II. He flew B-24s over the New Guinea and northern Indonesia and things like that.
Oh, wow.
B-24.
Wow.
You want to hear something ironic?
Yeah.
I was in Kapang, West Timor.
Uh-huh.
During World War II, my dad bombed the refinery. 50 years later, I'm buying diesel from the same refinery.
Oh, wow. Oh, that is ironic. Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were filling up my boat, but I didn't tell them what my dad had done.
The book.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that either.
That's funny. That's funny.
Not a good idea.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, it's just, I don't know if you remember this. Any of you old enough to remember?
Yeah.
The book is called Reckoning at Sea. Well, Max, I mean, how would you have written a book if that hadn't? You've got enough stories, probably. I mean, between the pirates and the other things, that even if the whale wasn't part of the story, although that's obviously like a pinnacle. So how does how do you write a book and tell that story and then have more to tell, or is that the very last thing you tell?
Well, like you said, there's been all kinds of different stories. We went I'll give you a great one. My daughter, who was 9 at the time, and my wife and I, we went to an island where people just don't go. As a matter of fact, at the time, your chart plotters now have taken over your paper charts, but back in 2000, I went to Bellingham Charts, and I told them I'm going from A to B, and they would supply me with all the charts. Well, one of the charts that they sent me to, this Nui Tapatopo, was a Captain Cook chart, and I thought, this is kind of a joke. He said, no, that's the only chart we have of that area at the time.
Wow.
What does that mean, Captain Kirk chart?
Wow.
He had actually explored that
Captain
he
Cook
had actually been there. And that was the only chart that they had available.
Captain
and then probably
Cook.
Yeah, Captain
Cook.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's probably a bunch of the other charts more updated. But when we got there, it was absolutely amazing. The natives were absolutely incredible.
Isn't that amazing though, that we in this day and age that we have some places in the world that really are literally still, well, if they're not uncharted, they're just hardly charted. Is that the what you say? Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Well, probably again with the electronics charts nowadays, that's all been changed. But they were just absolutely wonderful. Money wouldn't do anything. You traded. One of the guys said that we had met. He had made this carving, and I absolutely fell in love with it. Actually, it's in my living room now, and I wanted to buy it, but money isn't useless. So
really?
what he needed was fishing equipment. So what I did, I had him come aboard my boat, and I opened up my fishing box, and I said, you can have anything or all of it for that statue.
Really?
Yeah, and he went through it, and he took what he needed, and again, I offered the whole box if he wanted it.
But he didn't take it. See, there you go. That's a fair guy. How would you have eaten if you didn't have your fishing? Isn't that how you eat?
Sorry?
Isn't that how you eat? Is you fish for food? I mean, or do you don't have frozen
no. Oh,
hamburgers.
yeah. We would catch a tuna here and there, or a barracuda or something like that. We even call it a marlin. But,
Wow.
no, fish was nice, it's fresh, but we would load up in supplies at different areas, and enough to get us for our crossing.
That is fascinating. Well, let's go to the phone. I know we have some listeners wanting to say hi. Just to reintroduce our guest, Max J. Young is on the phone. Obviously an adventurer, a sailor, an artist, it says here. We didn't get to that part yet. And an author. The book is called Reckoning at Sea, Eye to Eye with a Gray Whale. And that sunk his boat, actually, but just about a year and a month ago now. Good morning. You're on the air. Thank you for waiting. No, there's nobody on the phone. Okay, there was somebody earlier. I just took too long to get to them. So, have you been out again since then?
No, I haven't. The longest period of time in my entire life, I have not been out on the ocean.
What do you think? Is there a reason for that? Are you nervous?
No.
It's kind of like when I was in the car accident. I didn't want to drive for a while. Is it like that?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. It's been kind of a... Well, funny you should mention about driving. I was actually driving down I-5 within 2 weeks after I got home. And all of a sudden, the whale, it was just the middle of the summer, right? And there's the whale again. I mean, I could feel...
What do you mean?
I had a flashback.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I had a flashback. It was like I wasn't in that car. It was cold. I can even smell the sea. I felt the impact. And because when I got home, I didn't even want to talk about it. Family and friends, I didn't.
Did it change your life?
Sorry?
Did it change your life? Not to get too deep here, but I mean, did it have a profound effect on you in some way?
Yeah, I really did think it did, because like I said, I didn't want to think about it. I did not want to talk about it. I had people from news media coming. They were actually camped out on a front lawn.
Wow.
My wife finally said, hey, he'll be here Saturday. Then you can do all the interviews you want. And there was ABC, CBS, NBC, Fox, CNN, and others that I don't, that came in for an interview at certain times. They actually even went to my granddaughter's birthday party to interview me there. I didn't like that idea at first, but the kids absolutely loved it with these two camera crews there, so it worked.
Well, this was such a traumatic experience for you, and according to your history, I mean, you grew up in poverty. One of the biographical facts was that you had to sleep in your red wagon because your folks couldn't afford a bed for you.
That is correct, yeah. Well, there was 3 other children there, too. We lived in the city projects. Neither my mother came here illegally from Sicily, never finished high school. My dad never finished high school. He went to war.
Wow.
So it was pretty tough times.
Obviously, the book is deeper than, the ocean is deep, right? Mm-hmm. Deeper than just the story of the whale. Did the process of writing the book, first the decision to write it, and then hooking up with your 2 co-authors, and I am right? They are the co-authors, Marty Childs and Jeff March?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. So how did that all come to be, and did you enjoy that process?
Oh, absolutely. Marty and Jeff are absolutely amazing people. I loved talking to them. We just all worked. The whole thing worked with them, and they had some wonderful ideas. I did get, like I said earlier, I did get emails from people wanting to write the book, but I did not want to do that. But after that driving down the road, I'd never seen a therapist in my life. I thought, okay, I need to talk to somebody. And she's the one that said, you need to talk about it. You can't bury it, because if you keep burying it, it keeps popping up. And so that's when I decided to go with those folks.
And the cover of the book is something that you did. With,
yes and no.
With the drawing.
Before I got into sailing, I had an airplane. And I was out with my 2 sons over San Francisco Bay back in the late 80s. And we were looking at the migration of the gray whales. And I could see there was a gray whale on top, and I could see the sun reflecting off its back. And I thought, and I was also scuba diving at the time too. And I thought, I wonder what it looked like if I was in the water when I would see that. And so that's how I drew that. It's a white chalk on a black board. Marty's daughter, she's the one that added the boat and the stars and the waves there.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? A lot of times when we speak to authors, they try to think of like little twists and little things that they can put into this. They didn't need to do that with you. I mean, the twist of the lifeboat not opening up until the rescue boat got there. I mean, that you would have never. If it had been fiction, the reader would have thought that's not realistic. Come on, But that's what really happens. Sometimes fact is, as they say, is stranger than fiction, right?
Yeah.
That's right. Well, wait a minute. It gets worse. The lady flying overhead, the Coast Guard lady flying overhead, could see that the life raft's not going to open. She said, "Well, put in your inflatable, your little dinghy that goes back and forth. We used to go back and forth, right?"
Right.
And so, it sounded like a great idea. The problem was, though, I was in Cabo San Lucas. It was hot in Cabo San Lucas when I was there. Where I was kind of cold. That inflatable was only half inflated at the time. Well, no problem, right? I have the air pump that's always attached to the seat of the inflatable. I always clip it on. Well, when she asked me to put the inflatable in the water, I did, and guess what happened? The air pump falls off. I didn't clip it.
Oh, no. It fell into the water?
Nervous.
It fell into the water.
It fell into the water. You see, now this is stranger than fiction, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is
and so I had about 60 pounds worth of gifts for my wife and my daughter, my grandchildren, and friends and stuff like that. I put it in the inflatable. It wouldn't even hold that bag. It actually fell in the water itself.
Oh,
so the gifts are all in the bottom of the ocean?
Oh yeah, they're back. Yeah, you can go down and get them if you want. They're
How deep is the water right there?
Oh, I think it's somewhere like 12,000 feet or something
12,000?
like that.
There you go.
All right,
I can tell you the exact spot where it's at. If you go to Google Earth, put in Rosarita Seamound.
What's it called? Rosalita?
Rosa Seamound. Is it Rosarita or Rosa? I think it's Rosa Seamound, yeah.
Rosa Seamound. Okay, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
And will we be able to see your boat sunk on the bottom there?
Yeah, you might be able to if you have a...
All right, let me go to the phone and then we'll say goodbye. I know we've went a little bit long. Good morning, you're on the air.
Yeah, hello, Larry?
Yeah.
I'm curious about the pirate encounters. I'll hang up and listen. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, we've started going there. Yeah, we don't have much time. Tell us a little bit about the pirate encounters.
Well, actually, there was two, in fact. I'll talk about the Somali ones. I think that's kind of interesting. What had happened is there is a green, yellow, and a red zone in that area. That's the Coast Guard has, or the U.S. Navy has there. And the red zone, obviously, is where most of your pirating starts. And as I had entered into the red zone, I was looking forward, and I could see this freighter. And I had already talked to the coalition warships that were patrolling, the United States and the French warships that were there, patrolling that area for pirates. And I looked forward, and I saw these longboats being dropped into the water. At first, I thought they were longboats being lifted into they had taken over a freighter, but in fact, that was the mothership of the pirates.
Gee.
So what's this brilliant Max Young do? Well, he gets on the VHF, and he calls the coalition warships and gives them the Latin long of the mothership. Guess who's listening? The mothership. Guess where these longboats are heading for?
Oh, no.
Right for you.
Oh, no. Oh, no. See?
You know, the old saying, God takes care of fools and drunks. Well, he took care of me that day.
And when you look at Pirates of the Caribbean, you see women drooling over this Johnny Depp. You say, you got to be kidding. That is... You don't be doing that.
That's right.
Don't be doing that for that guy.
Yeah, Johnny Depp has all his teeth. Those guys.
That's such a great story. This is such a wonderful recounting of what you've lived through, sir. It is absolutely marvelous.
By the way,
Yeah.
I just went to it's Rosa Seamount, Mexico, right? That's why I found it on there. Yeah. It's right in the, I can see where you are. When you zoom in as close as you can get, it's blurry. I don't know why. They blurred it out. Wait a minute. I see a boat. No, I'm teasing.
And I don't blame you for having nightmares about the whale, sir, with him looking at you.
Man, what a great story, Max. Thank you so much for being on the air with us today. The book, again, is called, hold on, I'll find the title here, Reckoning at Sea. And how do we get the book? Do you have a website?
Actually, it's Amazon and Barnes & Nobles have it for sale.
You've got
in like a $16 range or something like that.
Have you thought about doing an audiobook? You've got a great way of speaking.
Yeah.
No, actually, I haven't thought about that.
This would be perfect.
Not a bad idea, yeah.
Yeah, I'll note that down. Yeah, good idea.
Take it with you on a cruise.
I'll be back out there, most definitely.
Well, Max, thank you so much for being. I'm so glad you're safe, and you are definitely welcome back anytime. What a fascinating story. And any more books in your future? What do you think?
Not at this time. I never would think. I think my sixth grade English teacher would flip if she knew I wrote. No, not at this time.
Well, thank you for being on the air with us today, and great interview.
All right, thank you.
All right, we'll take a little break. We'll be right back.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge. Undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Hi, I'm Russ with Climate Control Mechanical Services, and I want to invite you to tune in every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. to listen for tips and answers to the many questions you may have about your air conditioning and heating for your home or business. The Climate Control Show, every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. right here on WOCA, 1370 a.m. and 96.3 FM, The Source.
You're listening to WOCA News Talk 1370, Ocala's source for what's happening in today's hottest, up-to-date news and topics.
Alice, you gotta hear there.
What?
When I call Devon Self Storage at 873-0777, they answer the phone always so happy.
Always?
Here, listen.
Thank you for calling Devon Self Storage. This is John. How may I help you today?
George.
What?
You hung up.
Of course. I know all about Devon Self Storage across from Hobby Lobby and 200 and how you can store just about anything there and you have your own code to get in. I just want to hear him answer the phone again.
Again?
Well.
Yes, George, yes.